What up? What
What
you
up?
doing, man? What up?
What's going on? Happy
Nothing.
October.
Happy October 1st.
It is almost Mean Girls Day.
What does that mean?
It's almost Mean Girls Day.
What is Mean Girls Day?
You telling me you haven't seen Mean Girls?
No.
You don't know? All right. Well, I
All right.
guess you're just going to be outside the circle of trust then.
I guess so. I don't know what it means. So,
Well then, onward. Hello,
what's going on?
everybody.
We
Welcome.
had some good news today. We heard some stuff.
We do have some news. We got
Yeah, we
lots of
do.
news. We got a
We
great
do.
show. We got a PowerPoint.
PowerPoint
We got a
again.
top 5. We got a wheel.
That's right. We're going to give away something to somebody.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Could be a double whammy day. And if it is,
Oh, my God. That'd be great.
I'm going to have to get up and find my pen because, I see it. Okay. The room got rearranged because we had to do a photo shoot. So my pen got moved, but I can see it. So
It's within range.
yeah, if I was a Jedi Master, I'd be able to, or if I had some sort of producer on set, I could
And then suddenly it would appear.
Yeah, like it would just like come in from the side and be like,
That's right.
I'll be like, thanks. Well, yeah. Yep.
I'm lamenting last night's Yankee loss.
Yeah, that's
terrible.
Great. I think it's great because they're one game away from clinching.
Clinching nothing.
They're one day away from next stop, Cancun.
That's it. There you go. Nice how you did that. Yeah. It was terrible.
Dodgers won.
They did. They won big,
10-5.
right? It was like 8-0. And when I turned it off,
10-5 finished.
10-5. 10-4.
They had to score that many runs to let their bullpen come in and lay an egg like normal. So
doesn't that scare you when you do that? You bring the bullpen in. Is it the mentality? I got a big lead. I'm just going to throw it over the plate.
No, this is their thing all year. It's like, hey, who wants to put up some zeros? Nobody's hand goes up. All right, you're in.
They call down to the bullpen. No one answers the phone.
Yeah, they called down the bullpen so many times last night. They're going to get a restraining order against them.
Nice. So I got some news. If you want to get into the new? Oh, let's talk about the housekeeping stuff. Put up the woohoo box.
Woo, the wee.
The woo box. You know how that works? Put your name in it. And in about an hour, Nick will pick a random name. Hopefully it's one you can pronounce.
It's been one I can pronounce lately.
Yeah, you've been okay with it. And then we'll spin the wheel. And if it comes up on Whammy, you're out.
Did it come through on Facebook? I got an error. I don't know if it came through or not. Let me know if you're on Facebook and you see the Woo Box link. Otherwise, I can post it again. But yeah, Facebook's been acting weird lately.
Yeah, last week was it YouTube or Facebook last week?
Facebook said last week people were saying that it was frozen. They couldn't watch us, so they had to come over to YouTube.
Yeah.
So what happens sometimes is Facebook will change their API on the back end, and it won't. All right, they're saying it didn't come through. Let's try it again. If it doesn't come through, then go over to YouTube. That's all I can tell you to do. We'll see if it comes through or not. I don't know. But they'll change integration so that third-party apps, like what we use here at StreamYard, it won't work. Some features won't work or won't integrate. So, yeah. All right, I posted it again. I didn't get an error this time. So if you don't see it in Facebook, I don't know what to tell you. So just go. You got to find us on YouTube then. Anyways, but that's what's happening. WooBox is just not WooBox, but StreamYard and Facebook doesn't seem to be playing nice with each other. But anyways,
they hate each other.
Well, yeah. Maybe we'll just go all YouTube from here on out.
All tube. All right.
We'll just host it only on
there.
So
anyway, let me get back to the housekeeping. So once your name's in, we'll pick a name. You got 90 seconds to let us know you're watching the show. And then you can get a spin. Nick will give you a spin. And if you like the gift, you keep it. If you don't, you say spin again. At that point, you are susceptible to the whammy. If you go grip sack, we'll give you another spin. If you go grip sack, whammy, you go in the Whammy Hall of Fame on that one.
Yep, never been done. There's always a first.
That's it. So, hey, you want to tell everybody about the chamois that are coming?
Yeah. So we got some chamois, some whammy chamois on order.
Not whammy chamois. You can't.
Well, you never know. We might change up the rules.
There we
but
go. I like that. Look at that.
We got the okay to design our own chamois. It's got like a rubberized, front,
Grippy.
back, whatever,
Yeah.
and then the chamois material on the other side. And I was told these will be here end of October, early November.
Wow.
Wow, I was right. So we couldn't get super detailed. We couldn't put our own images on there or anything. It get too crazy. But
we should have named it the Shawami.
The Shawami. So yeah, we might put extra whammies on there and then just give out chamois for the whammies.
That's true. We could do that.
We can do whatever we want.
We can. You know why?
It's our show.
Rated show. 3:00 Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
I wish we had a picture of Miguel to put on the chamois.
That'd have been far too intricate for that.
Yeah, that's it. Because I hear he's such a debonair guy.
OG whammy #1.
That's right. He is it.
He's probably so pumped to have his name drawn and then whammy. All right, here we go.
All right, let's go. I'm taking. Hold on, don't move it around. I got to read it. I'm going to take.
You can read.
I'm going to take. What's that green one say?
Which one? There's two.
Green one. Keep going. Turn it. Keep going. I can't read it. All right, that one. New shoes. I'll take new shoes.
I'm taking grip sack for $20.
What is grip sack, Alex? There it is. New shoes. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Oh, here it comes. Oh, we almost whammied again.
Landed on shirt and the pre-test shirt. Yeah, you can get that one there. Identify that's been a popular shirt.
I bet it has. I like it.
Yeah, last week Robert sent me a picture wearing that shirt.
Yeah.
Great shirt.
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, you get any choice. That's becoming a great prize, the shirt. It's a very underrated prize.
It is. And they're really nice. They're well made. They're soft.
Yep.
That's right.
Custom printed. Chilling like a villain today.
That's it. We're ready.
All right.
Let's talk about some news.
It's the striking news. Bowling news and views from around the world with your hosts, Brunsnick and Phil Cardinelli. It's the striking news.
Rob Johnson.
I feel like we need a remix on that sound. Maybe we need to have like a bass line, like a boom.
Oh, you want to get rid of Rob Johnson?
No. I want him just to add like a
background music.
We need like the drum line or some bass to it. You know what I mean?
Whatever. Call in the technical department and have them put it in there.
Yeah, I need some bagpipes.
Bagpipes. You know what they said?
Someone, yeah.
So let's talk about some of the news. A PBA posted their schedule.
It was the CW. It wasn't even. Or did the PBA? I don't even.
It's on the PBA's website. It was PBA, I think, that posted. Maybe not.
I think it was the CW.
Yeah, February 22nd. It starts 10 consecutive Sundays on CW.
That was your big drum roll.
That was it. Well, it's CW. I had just switched to DirecTV and I found that channel.
So you have it.
I have it, and I clicked favorite, so I don't have to keep looking for it. Because
what channel number is that on DirecTV?
I have no idea. It just saw CW. I clicked it and said favorite.
I don't even know. Is there a CW app for like Fire Stick or something?
I have no idea. No, you can't. Yeah, it's got to be available. It's out there.
I mean, I can't watch CBS Sports on an app anywhere. I don't think.
Let me tell you how disappointing last week. How not disappointing is a bad word. I want to say embarrassing. Last week was okay. I'm flipping through channels, and on one of the ESPN channels, they had. You ready for this? Tricycle racing.
Tricycle, not unicycle.
Tricycle racing.
Well, was it? How was it? Was it pretty intense?
PBA bowling, professional bowling, is on CW.
What were the payouts for the?
I couldn't. I didn't watch it.
That would have been the final nail in the coffin there, I would think.
If they got paid more than the PBA players.
Yeah, if they got paid more than like a
major. Sponsored by General Motors or something.
It's sponsored by Rolex.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Uniroyal tires or
Rolex was the official. Rolex was the official timekeeper of tricycle racing. Anyway, think about that. So CW, because the negotiator,
negotiator.
So Lev got a good deal with CW. Anyhow, it's 20 hours. Now, this is what I'm interested in to find out. It's 10 consecutive shows, 20 hours of broadcasting. So are they all 2-hour shows? And you know what's interesting about that?
With commercials, I mean, all the majors were like 2 hours, weren't they? Yeah.
The shows are 2 hours?
Yeah, the majors are. Yeah, for sure.
Are they? Okay. Well, that's about the right time. I just think it's a long time.
Well, if you have a top 5, 4 matches, right?
I thought it was always an hour and a half. Maybe not.
I think it's been 2. They
run
a lot of hour 45. Hour 45 is good. I never waited 2 hours.
2 hours with traffic. So it's pretty interesting. 2-hour shows, 10 consecutive weeks, which is pretty cool. People know where it is if you get CW. If not, it could be 10 out. 10
they said it's over the air, so you should be able to put up banana ears, but we don't have very many stations close by that we can even get here. I don't know about
you're going to go buy an antenna if you don't get it.
I have an antenna. The only problem is that antenna picks up like 3 channels from Grand Rapids. Is the closest to it.
Oh, it's not, and CW is not one of them.
I'm pretty sure CW is not one of them. I'd have to look again. I'd have to run a scan and see what kind of stuff I can get. Because for a while there, I was running an antenna so I can watch some football on Sundays. Because a lot of them are on over the air.
Right. Anyway. Dio Bernardo. He's not Dio Bernardo. It's Dio Bernard.
He's Italian now.
He's Italian. Dio Bernardo. One other regional.
Oh.
That's a couple in like a couple of weeks, right? At
least. 14. Yeah. He's only 21.
And he won 14 regionals.
He's won 14 regionals.
Wow. Must be two-handed.
And lefty. And throws urethane.
And lefty and throws urethane.
Somebody stop that kid.
He won the Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award.
He did. He's a nice guy, too. Nice kid.
And he's a nice guy.
Yeah. Walter Ray said he's a nice kid. Publicly. Really? So that means it's true.
He's a nice kid. So that was good. Congratulations. And then here's the other news, which I really love this. This is interesting because it falls right into the categories of how things are determined. And you know the outcome before you even want to talk about it. The women's NCAA ruled to ban urethane.
Altogether.
No urethane. And this is the part I love. The coaches voted. And they came up with that. So let me give you a hypothetical scenario.
What is this? Majority rule? What did they have to get to?
Yeah, it was majority rule. Let me give you the background, my opinion, conspiracy theory on this one. Ready?
Yeah.
We have 10 schools. Arbitrary 10 schools. Let's make it 9 so it's even. 9 schools. 3 schools are backed by Brunswick or the brands of, 3 by Motive, and 3 by Storm.
Yeah.
The 3 obviously backed by Brunswick can throw purple hammers, and the other 6 schools can't. So now we're going to vote on urethane. All those in favor of banning urethane, raise your hand. Well, obviously the 6 schools that don't have a Purple Hammer raise their hand.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was if they use the same method that the USBC did on doing their polling.
There's an old saying. It's not really an old saying. It's actually lyrics from a song, but it says, "Majority rules don't work in mental institutions."
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, exactly. Think about that. So how do you do that? It's like saying, Ohtani is the best left-handed home run hitter in the National League. I'm going to ban Oriental left-handed home run hitters. All those in favor. Oh my God. Isn't that unbelievable?
I mean, they make rules for him to be designated hitter and then pitch.
Yeah, right,
Ohtani
exactly. So let's vote against that because we don't have that. So
Yeah.
if you let all the managers vote, the coaches vote, do you think he would be able to do that? No.
He's Japanese, by the way. He's not. Anyway, go on.
What?
Never mind. Go on.
Was that a bad word, Oriental? I'm sorry.
It's dated.
All right, dated. Okay. So anyway, so if you're the only one that has it and your opponents can vote to take it away from you, how can that be a fair vote? They don't have it.
Yeah, the other 29 teams are going to vote, unless they find another Ichiro or find another
right
Matsui.
So here we are with the Purple Hammer. The teams that we sponsor, obviously, the kids can throw it. And the ones that can't don't have it. So we're going to vote if we should keep it or not. What do you think they're going to say?
Yeah, I think it's a little wild that it's coming down to each organization to make their own. It's not even a matter of if the ball was okay for use and approved for use in all USBC competition.
Exactly.
If it can be rescinded at any time, then what's the point?
Well,
why do we certify?
There's a shirt that says that. Here's the part that bothers me the most about it is when they set that precedence, when the U.S. and I said it on the show that I was more upset about the precedence it set, where they can come in and make changes arbitrarily after the fact. In other words, the ball's been approved, it's out in the market. Suddenly, we're going to say you can't use it. What's to stop that from becoming the next whatever they want to change?
Yeah,
down the pike. It's just a precedence that's set. And here's an example of it. Why would you ban that? And by the way, it's only a few percentage of people that women bowlers that throw urethane.
Yeah,
it's a very low percentage. I'm not saying it's going to corrupt the sales forecast or anything like that. How do you do that?
I think we're gonna make a push for having some sort of issue with your olfactory lobe, your nose, where you're sensitive to smell.
Yeah.
So we're going to ban all bowling balls that are scented because it's creating an unfair competitive environment because it gives me a headache. It gives me a headache. We're going to ban all scented bowling balls.
No, I just think the ball companies have to vote on that.
Yeah, the ball companies should vote.
Yeah, just vote it. All 3 in favor. Okay, 2 out of 3. All right, you can't scent bowling balls anymore. It's so ridiculous that they would have a vote where it's not a level playing field. One company has an advantage, make the best urethane ball in the world forever. And then suddenly we're going to vote because teams are sponsored and they can't throw it. Therefore, we're going to vote that you can't have it.
It affects your oriental lobe.
I saw that.
I swear, 9 times out of 10, the chat's funnier than Phil will ever be.
Probably right. I'm sure it is. Anyhow, that's the news for today.
That's funny.
Yeah, I believe it's a conspiracy. That's my theory on how that vote went. It had nothing to do with whether it was logical based on anything other than the fact that they didn't have it. They could say they were hiding behind the integrity of the sport, degradation of the pattern. You can say whatever you want. They didn't have it. We're going to vote it out.
if anything, I want to see someone dominate in the NCAA with urethane. I think
Not
it
now.
is a skill. Same with PWA. I watched a lot of different PWA stops,
Right.
and some urethane went down a little bit more this year than previous. But I want to see someone that just absolutely dominates. I think Shannon Pulowski was the closest to it,
Yep.
where it was just domination when she had it. You couldn't beat her.
And now it'll never happen again because it's gone.
Well, until new leadership comes in.
Well,
Or maybe a whole new governing body. How about that? Anybody want to start one with me?
I think that'd be a great idea, right?
What should we call
You know,
it?
I don't even know if that's necessary to have change of leadership. Just have some logic put involved.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So what's going to happen when we come up with the next best ball that performs like a purple hammer? Because we have chemists, and you know what they do? They do chemical
chemistry.
things.
Well, you know what's going to happen is they're just going to move the goalposts. That's what they're going to do.
Again.
Yeah. It's 73 hardest. No, we got to go to 74.
No, here's what we're going to do. We're going to send them a little note. Listen, we're working on developing a new cover stock that rolls like the purple hammer. Before we put all the effort into getting it, can you assure us you're going to let it be legal? And they're going to say, oh, sure. And then once it comes out and it dominates, they're going to say, well, you know, the players are relying on it and they're becoming one-dimensional because they're relying on it. Like they don't rely on resin balls.
Let's ban the Pro V1 because 80% of tour players are using the Pro V1.
That's it.
It's a crutch for them. You know, they can hit any golf ball, but they only use
Callaway
this one.
can't compete to that level.
Callaway doesn't have a Pro V1. They
Pro
tried.
V1.
They tried like hell to do it. They just couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it. Although Kirkland did, but you know, it's
and they got sued.
and they got sued
twice. They got sued for their irons. They got sued for their golf ball.
Right.
Wonderful.
And maybe somebody needs to get sued.
That'd be cool. Anybody here know any lawyers?
Yeah, right.
Google.
And somebody just wrote about the direct hit. So here, that's amazing to me. It fell under the parameters of it had a performance core in it, and it didn't absorb oil in under 90 minutes.
What is the definition of performance core? Because some of those balls on that list had a differential of like 017, 020, and then you have the direct hit, which is at 050 something.
Yeah, as long as it's not a puck. I would imagine that's all it is, right?
That's it, right? That's a parameter.
That's got to be the parameter. What else could there be?
Performance core. So we're not dictating it by differential number.
Oh no. There's no numbers on that.
So you're saying we can put a puck in it because back in the day, if anybody remembers the Power Groove series, that ball had an 047 differential, and it had just 2 offset pucks in there. It was a cool system, but there was no core. It was just pucks. So,
but I'll give you another example. I think the Spy is not on there because it's older, right? And I think they had a 2-year rule on. I don't know what the rule is
before 2022.
I read it 27 times. I still don't understand it. But anyway, the Spy is a polyester cover that doesn't absorb oil at all,
ever,
and it's got a performance core in it. That's not on the list.
Well, there's going to be a lot of Spies going down the lane.
I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. So the ball we made for the average bowler who has low ball speed and the lanes hook too much for him or her is now banned because it fell under the window of it didn't absorb oil fast enough. So let me ask you a question. If that ball absorbed oil in 89 minutes, would it have been legal?
By the book.
Exactly.
And where did that 90-minute rule come from anyway? Oh, grabbed it out of thin air. There it is. How about this?
There's the rule. There's the rule. Science is fun, kids.
They say rules are made to be broken. Well, rules are made to be changed.
Changed. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's unbelievable. Yeah. I'm telling you, sometimes and you've seen this happen throughout the time. People make a rule and then realize, well, that wasn't the intent. I'm trying to correct something. And what's the intent? Really, you think that there was an advantage to throwing a torpedo direct hit? It was going to dominate the low
Pro
oil
circuit.
absorption rule, a market. Anyway, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, since you already said Oriental, now can we call it like Indian giver? Is that okay to say?
No. No.
What?
No.
That's not okay. That's how we used to say it all the time as kids. When like someone
I
give you
know.
something, they're like,
Can't
"No,
say it
give it
anymore.
back."
You can't say that anymore. Yeah.
Nah, you don't say that.
If you ever get a chance to watch Sebastian Maniscalco, he's pretty funny. He talks about going to his kid's school, and the teachers want them all, the parents, to sit down, and they're going to sit on the floor with their kids, cross their legs. And he says to the teacher, Indian style, and she goes, "Oh, you can't say that." And he says, "I'm sure the Indians all got together on a reservation and said, 'Hey, they're stealing our sitting posture. Let's sue them.'" They can't say that anymore.
What's going to come out from all this is that there is no action without some sort of opposite and equal reaction.
I know, but I'm going to say this on every show from now on until they come up with some of the answers. Show me the results of the changes you've made in the last 5 years that was supposed to have a correction or some type of an impact on the game. Show me the results.
Yes.
Of taking. First, they had the sanding, the RA.
Show me the Carfax.
Yeah, right. The RA.
Yeah.
Right. The weight hole. Then they had the thing with the grips where the kids couldn't drill them.
Oh, the tri-grip thing, yeah.
Tri-grip thing because they took away the balance hole. Show me that.
Yep.
Show me the oil absorption. Show me the results of any of these things. Just show me one of them. Post it, and show us that you did something that worked. You reduced the flare. You cut down on the differentials.
Yeah, did 300s go down after that? Don't think so.
But they didn't say that. They said that wasn't the reason they were doing it. They didn't want to. They weren't trying to control scoring.
When did the 060 rule go into place? I don't remember that exact.
I don't
time
remember
period.
either. No.
I'm sure somebody in the chat knows, but when did they change the limit to 060? When would that go into effect? I want to say it was late 2000, 2009.
It might have been. Yeah. Okay. So how many 300s? Was the scoring pace go down? Did anything change? But they said it was not to lower the scoring pace. That it was had to do with the lane condition. Balls that flared change the pattern, which is now it's the opposite. Now it's balls that don't flare change the pattern. Which is it? Show one time. Just send me a note. Phil C at radicalbowling.com. Send me a note that tells me what the results were. Right. What was the impact
okay, so
of the change?
2005. Okay, that's when they changed the 060. I got one thing I want everybody to look up. Okay. I want you to look up. So before 2005, there was no limitation on anything of the sort. So look at from 1985 to 2005, and then 2005 to 2025. So 20 years each side.
Right.
How many 900 series were shot before 2005, and how many were shot after 2005?
It had nothing to do with the ball.
But I'm just saying.
Right.
Look it up.
Right. Look.
How many do you think were shot before? Yeah. I mean, you could probably look that up too, but that's somewhere in a database. But before 2005, I want to say there was probably the Mushter thing happened around 2006, end of 2005.
Well, he had 11, so
I think there was probably only 5 or 4, if you count Glenn Allison, which I do.
Yeah.
So, and there's probably been 20 since.
Which
30?
he shot with a yellow dot, by the way.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So, here's what's interesting about it. And then we got to get off this because I'll spend an hour
on
this.
Robert, hold on one sec. You also have to take into account sample size of a lot more bowlers from 05 to now than prior. I don't believe that for 1 second. League bowling has gone down. The amount of league sanctioned
no,
games.
absolutely. Oh, it's
They're
down a lot.
From 1985 to 2005 was way
No,
higher
it's
than
down a lot.
2005
Down
to
a lot.
2005.
It's
With all
down a
this-
lot.
Yeah. So with less USBC games, with less sanctioned bowlers, you're going to have more
Right.
300s, more honor scores
Yeah.
than you ever had before.
So I'm gonna tell you, I was in a meeting one time. They were talking about percentage of scores shot, honor score shot per bowlers, right?
Mhm.
Whatever it was. And then they had this whole big thing about the percentage. And I said to them, let me ask you a question. You got 10 guys in a room that bowl league. 7 of them are great. 3 of them are not so great, but it's still 10. The 3 guys who aren't so great have never shot 300, but the other 7 guys shoot 1 a year.
Mhm.
So 70% of the bowlers shot 300. The 3 guys quit. So 100% of the bowlers shot 300? That's what you're telling me.
Yeah. Miguel says, thanks for your email, Phil. I'll send you an Olive Garden gift card for that email. So Phil says, hey, do we have a bet for the World Series if there's a rematch for Yankees and Dodgers, right?
Yeah, I did say that.
And then not more than 2 seconds go by after he said that. But
Well,
Olive Garden's not on the table.
that's the rule. That's
It's not a
my
rule.
No, it is my watch. It's my rule. Done. And there's no bet then. If you say we'll bet if Olive Garden, first of all, after last night's debacle with the Yankees, I don't think
They're
the
even
Yankees
going to
are
play
start
after
winning.
today.
I don't know. I mean, that was debacle. But it's got nothing to do with me being afraid to bet. I will bet anything you want to bet.
Nope. No, you
What
won't.
What I will not bet is dinner at Olive Garden again. You had it. You got it. We're done.
Twice.
Let's move on. Yeah. I'm
I
not
know.
doing it again.
I love that place. I love taking you there. I feel like family when you're
I'll
there.
tell you what we'll do. We'll go to dinner. I'll drop you off at Olive Garden, and I'll pick
Okay.
you up when you're done. And I'll go
Okay,
to
that's
a
fine.
decent restaurant. I'll go to
Just give
anything
me your
better than that.
give me your credit card because it's on you.
I'll pay the bill. If I lost a bet, I'll pay the bill. I'm not going in there. I will rather go eat at Arby's than eat at Olive Garden.
Arby's is pretty good too. They got the meats.
There we go. Yeah, you're the big connoisseur on food. Let's move
I'm gonna
on.
post the Woo Box.
All right, post the Woo Box again.
We're about halfway.
But anyway, if you guys get a chance, ask USBC for some of the results of any of the changes they've made in the last 10 years. Any of them. Any of them. I just want to see anything. They had a whole reason for doing it, but they never give you a reason as to what happened. Sorry
Good
about
job.
that.
Good job on your
Yeah, I'm sorry
housekeeping, on your pre-show housekeeping.
I can't do it.
Radical Bowling can help you.
No, that's my cell phone. I have a doctor's appointment in a week, and they're reminding me. So
Good.
anyway,
You
yeah,
need all the
so
reminders you can get.
I do. I'm telling you, all I want to do is see one result. One result. Yeah,
Hey, how about you silence your cell phone? We're on the air.
what I did. What I did.
I need a new co-host.
What I did. I think so. I didn't turn the ringer off. I'm sorry. Anyhow, you did the Woo
Still
Box?
going off, Phil.
No, it's not. I don't know where it's ringing.
Yes, it
Not
is.
here. Well, that's it. Done. All right. Let's go.
Might
I'm
as
ready.
well answer it.
No, I didn't. I'm not. It was Wyatt. Wyatt knows I'm on this podcast. He's traveling today. I think he's going to Vegas.
You want to silence your cell phone so it doesn't go off again?
I did.
You sure?
So I'm positive I did.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about building an arsenal. You know, we get a lot of questions. You know, what ball should I buy? This is what I bowl in. That's what I do. And you know, it's pretty logical. What happens is people cloud it over because there are so many options.
USBC is calling with the results.
There you are. Yeah, there you are. That'll never happen. You know why? There is no results.
Why? Because they don't have your number.
Oh, they have my number.
I bet.
So what I put together is a little PowerPoint just to say, and it's pretty basic. Most of you guys already know this, but I'll tell you what, when you think about it logically, it's a pretty simple system to build an arsenal. you know, and the arsenal has to have what I call a core. This is the core to my arsenal, a 3-ball core. You know, Nick's probably got 3 purple hammers, but for most people, you have a little bit of a variety, you know. So go to the next slide.
Three purple hammers. I got 2 black hammers, which is one is 15, one is 16. I have a Kentucky purple, which I don't use as my original test ball from like 20. Gosh,
You still use it. Don't lie.
no, I've never. It's pinned down. Like that's how I used to drill all my
okay.
urethane balls, and I just haven't used it since. I don't even know if it's my old grip or new grip. I have no clue.
Just look at it. If one finger's like on the other side of your hand, it's the new grip.
Well, I met at one point like Mo made a span change for me. So
all right.
I don't.
So every arsenal will be built around a basic core, and I don't mean a core in the ball. I mean the core to your arsenal. This should be the basis of which every ball is added to. So in other words, you have a basic arsenal of 3-ball arsenal because you have a 3-ball bag or whatever it is, and you're going to add a ball. You want to add it on each side of your arsenal. That's what I'm saying. So if your arsenal should be, how in my opinion, a spare ball or a least reactive ball you own. Now, some people don't have a spare ball, but they have a shiny something or other, you know,
Urethane
ball, possibly. It could be anything like that. Direct hit, spy, you know, T-zone, or it could be like a Rhino Pro or a Rhino or a Twist. A symmetrical ball. We're not going to talk about what it should be yet, just a symmetrical ball and an asymmetrical ball. And the reason I say that is, and this is the premise for a lot of the videos we do and a lot of things we talk about, it's the length of the hook window. So the ball goes skid, hook, roll. Okay. And we want the hook zone to be the longest. Okay. For you, depending on your style, it's got to match. And a symmetrical ball has the longest hook window. An asymmetrical ball has a shorter hook window. So the ball begins to roll at the end of the pattern. Before it enters the pins. On an asymmetrical ball, it'll roll forward sooner than on a symmetrical ball. And depending on your style, type of bowler you are, that's why you would need a symmetrical versus an asymmetrical, or when to use it. So who are you? Not the song.
I'm Nick.
I'm Nick. Your DNA. Are you rev dominant, speed dominant, or matched? Okay. Now, by saying rev dominant doesn't mean you're a high rev player.
That is true.
It means your rev rate is greater than, say, your ball speed. In a match situation, you would be matched. You have the right ball speed and the right rev rate. If you're rev dominant, your rev rate is greater than your ball speed can handle. If you're speed dominant, it's the other way around. You throw it harder than your rev rate can keep up with. So you have to figure out who you are. And there's nothing wrong with any of those styles. It's just a matter of knowing who you are. Where do you bowl?
Pin crest.
You bowl a pin crest. What's the surface of pin crest?
Wood.
You got to know your surface. So, and you got to know the pattern you bowl on. Now, you guys have a pad. They do the lanes by hand, don't they?
Not anymore. They
Not
actually
anymore? Okay.
They got their Century 100 tuned up. They got shimmed up their wicks. They got a long wick and a short wick.
Right, there you go.
So they got one that does the 10 to 10, and then they run it again.
Mm-hmm.
That does just the outsides or something.
Right.
I don't know. But they got a new process now. They're not squeegeeing the lanes anymore.
Right. So you have to know where you bowl. Are they old lanes, new lanes? What kind of surface it is? Some surfaces hook more than others. They have more friction. Know that. And then what type of pattern are you bowling on? You know, and you don't have to know exactly, although I don't know why you don't nowadays. Everything is posted.
Seems like
it seems like everywhere you go, this is where, you know, people look at the shape. They don't look at the mills. They don't look at the buffs. They don't look at anything. What do you bowl in? Are you just a league player? Or do you bowl league in some tournaments? Do you only bowl in one house? I get that a lot where people say, well, I'm a league player, but I only bowl in one house that has some tournaments. Well, what do you bowl on? Is it a house shot, a modified house shot? Do they tell you what it is? But depending on where you bowl, you're traveling, some advantages. But like, when people go to nationals, I always laugh about the nationals. In Reno, people from California drive to Reno. So
yeah, we sure do. Yeah, it was 2 hours door to door when I lived in Northern California.
exactly. So how many balls did you bring?
The Nationals?
Yeah.
Still 6. I like to travel light.
Yeah, exactly. But there's an advantage if you lived where you bowl.
Oh, it was nice because I could pop over there, watch people bowl.
Yeah,
back a
sure.
few guys, see how the
Right.
pattern played.
Exactly.
It was a big
Like-
advantage living close.
We drove to Baton, the Red Baton, Baton Rouge. So I brought 8 balls.
Did you bowl better this year than you did last year?
Yeah, about the same.
So really
But
no
wait,
advantage.
you missed the point. I brought 8 balls. I brought in 3.
I mean, it's
the
easier on your
same
back.
3. It's the same 3 I normally bring in.
Why did you even bother with 8 then?
Well, because it was in a truck we were driving.
So what?
I don't know. That was stupid.
You could have saved gas.
Exactly. So, if you know what you're bowling on, where you're bowling, all of this comes into play as to what kind of an arsenal you need. People right away, oh, I need this, I need that, but you don't bowl anywhere else. The same place every week. So what do you need?
Mm-hmm.
So, what's the best core arsenal for me? So on a league pattern, typical house shot, is it a typical house shot or oily house shot? Is it a hooking house shot? Once you determine that and you figured out your DNA and what you're bowling on, tournament play. A lot of people bowl tournaments, and the only difference between the league and the tournament might be the amount of games if it's on a house shot. You bowl league, you bowl 3 games, you're on the same pair.
Yeah.
If you're bowling on a tournament and it's a house shot, it could be 3 games across 3 different pair. Okay, I don't know if that matters that much, or it could be a longer format.
For some people, moving pairs is a different thing, and they're not used to it.
Sure. At Astro Bowl, where I bowl, the high end hooks a little more than the low end. So you got to know if you're crossing the house. What are you going to bowl on? Is it a sport shot? Is it a modified house shot? Sometimes they do that. They say, we're going to take the house shot. We're going to put a little more head oil. Well, that's not a house shot that you're used to. It's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
The tournament duration is important for your arsenal. And that doesn't mean you have to have a 10-ball arsenal or an 8-ball arsenal, 9-ball arsenal. You just need to know that, do you bowl tournaments that have short formats, and do you bowl tournaments that have long formats, or do you bowl both?
Yeah, because for a 3-game league, certain bowling balls will never come into play.
You can carry them in all you want.
The lanes won't break down enough to get into these low-end balls that don't flare a lot or weaker covers, that when you encounter burn, very rare in league do you see burn.
Right, exactly. And if you do, it's by the second or third week of the league, you have an idea how to play it. It's predictable.
Like our scratch league was at 9:00. We bowled right after the early league.
Right.
So we would see some burn, but that's after 7 games.
Did you say sunburn?
Some burn.
Oh, sunburn. Yeah, sunburn.
Sunburn.
Got it.
So yeah, they would get a little messy by the end of the night. That's after 7 games, after a 5-person team early, and then our 3-person trios bowling 4 games.
Yeah.
So
you got to understand what you're bowling on and what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So now for the core arsenal, rev dominant players, right? Let's talk about that for a little bit. So that means that your ball speed doesn't match up with your rev rate. So you need a longer hook window. That means that after the ball goes skid, hook, before it rolls forward, that window between the skid and the roll has to be longer for you if you're rev dominant. So the ball doesn't roll forward and you don't leave flat 10s and have no continuation. So you need lower total diffs, period. On your asymmetricals, you need lower total diffs. On the asymmetricals, you need lower intermediate diff because the intermediate diff is going to dictate the shape at the end of the pattern.
Yeah, we're
It's
talking
gonna be-
about you here pretty much.
Yes, you are. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
know.
So you drill a lot of pin down asymmetrics
I do.
lately.
Yep, and I drill weak symmetricals.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest diff I have is at 035 on the symmetricals.
Yeah.
If I drill an asym ball, personally, I will look for something in the 0.1s on the intermediate, 0.14, 0.15, low as possible. Total diffs, I try to keep it in the 40s.
Right. Give you something a little bit more than your symmetricals.
That's exactly right.
A little bit quicker response.
And you hit the nail on the head a little bit.
Yeah, not
right.
Not a chasm there, because who wants to have to make a ball change and then change a whole zone too?
And you hit the nail on the head, Nick. That's exactly right. So when you put a core arsenal together of 3 balls, one being a spare ball and 2 other balls, I don't want them so far apart that when I make a switch, I'm making a time zone change.
Right.
You can't have that.
That's how you give away frames.
Certainly you do. Well, should I move 7 or 12?
You might as well be guessing. I mean, you're just hoping for the best.
So the 2 balls in that core arsenal bag of yours need to be pretty close.
Yeah.
Just a matter of how long is the hook window. And that's what you have to worry about. Now, I could go with 2 symmetrical balls. I can go with an 0.45 or 0.50 diff and an 0.35 diff. And I will have 2 totally different animals in the bag. And that would be a perfect core bag for me, those 2 and a spare ball. And that's usually what my bag looks like. If it's with the Intel, which is an 0.35, or a sneak attack is an 0.35. And if I put a no doubt in there, that's an 0.50. Yeah, that's what do they call it? It's pitch it and grip it and let it go. That's it.
Spray and pray.
Spray and pay. Yeah, spray.
Yeah, there's no way to combat that. They make it impossible on purpose.
That's not. There's no arsenal for that.
Yeah, it's just huck it, chuck it.
That's
pray
it.
For the best.
Pray for the best.
Pick up your spares.
So when you're a rev dominant player or a speed dominant player, your core bag should be 2 balls at a close, and they should be similar in the sense where if I'm throwing the 1 ball, for instance, if I threw a no doubt to start and it starts to hook too much, I can go reach in the bag, get out the sneak attack, and stay in the same spot. That's my goal. My move should only be a board or 2 or 3 tops. Okay, now surfaces for a rev dominant player, you might be able to use a hybrid, but or pearls. And by smooth solids, I mean like I'll take a solid ball like a sneak attack, and I'll hit it with 3,000, or more, or 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
I won't polish it. I'll just keep it smooth. Hybrid, I would do the same thing. Now, if I want the hybrid to hook a little more than my solid or a little less than my solid, I would just play around with the surface a little bit.
Yeah, dial it in, because where you bowl can be dependent on how much surface you need, your ball speed especially, depending on how rev dominant you are.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
You're breaking up.
I'm breaking up?
No. Just saying that, the amount of surface you need is going to be entirely dependent on how you throw the ball and what you bowl on.
Exactly.
Some players may not need any surface for what they bowl on, especially rev dominant.
That's true. I mean, yeah, but a ball comes out of the box, it might be 150, 100, 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a bad starting point for me.
Yeah.
I would go 1,500, 2,000, 3,000. I might take it 1 level up from where it is. And again, the 2 balls in my bag are going to be pretty similar. Let's talk about the speed dominant player.
Let me get there. Hold on.
All right.
Give me a minute.
I'll give you a minute.
This slide change brought to you by Clear Magic.
Clear Magic.
For all your cleaning needs.
Cleaning needs. Clear Magic. Brought to you by Clear Magic, the plant-based ball cleaner. Hammer, Clear Magic. So the speed dominant player, okay, he needs a shorter hook window. So for him, symmetricals with high differentials or asymmetricals with high intermediate diffs, period. That's a perfect 2-ball bag for a speed dominant player.
Mhm.
2 balls, both one symmetrical, one asymmetrical, both have high diffs. Both could have surface on them. A solid with surface or a hybrid with surface. It's not hard for that guy. Don't want to confuse that bag by having something so far apart. You have 2 balls with a 050 diff in your bag, and one's an asymmetrical with a high intermediate. It's going to give you a different shape down lane and not move you out of the zone.
Yeah, I think the mistake a lot of players use, and not just speed dominant, but especially players that get on patterns and they start bowling on, sport patterns for the first time, is they almost never use enough surface.
Right.
Because one, they don't have a lot of experience using surface because they're not a need for it in a house shop for the most part, for most people.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get on those patterns where there's a lot more volume to the outside in ratio, then you start seeing the difference there. Oh man, that my ball is just not slowing down. There's no hook out there. That's what you always hear. Oh, the ball didn't even hook out there. It's it's a reverse block. It's a reverse block.
Reverse block. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So always carry pads, sanding pads, and you're going to typically want to use more surface, especially if you're speed dominant and you get on any kind of oil. Surface is your friend. Keep adding more to your ball until you see the ball slow down and get through the pins right. That's it.
Right. And the ball has to slow down a hook. You won't have any motion without it slowing down.
Yeah, if it doesn't, you can hit the pocket all day, but if it doesn't slow down and actually make the change of direction, you're going to be part German all day.
Flat 10,
9, 9, 9, 9.
So that's your basic starting point in your bag. 2 balls that are close to each other. You don't want to be changing time zones when you change balls, and that's your starting point.
And I'm going to post the Woo Box one more time. This Woo Box link brought to you by Tamper Away for all your tampering needs.
Tamper Away for all your tampering needs. $69.95. Operators are standing by now. But wait, if you call now, we'll throw in an extra set of rubber gloves.
Free.
It's operator standing by to take your order. Tamper Away.
All right. Where are we at here? Next slide.
Cool. So adding to the core. So you have your 2 balls in a 3-ball bag. You might have a spare ball, whatever it may be. It could be a urethane ball, could be a plastic ball, whatever that ball is. Could be a low end reactive ball, shiny. But those are your core balls. Now, excuse me. If you have to go to some tournaments, local house and modified house shots. Okay.
I told you didn't silence your cell phone.
How can you even hear that?
Cleveland just hit a home run. It's 2-1.
Is it?
There's a little switch on the side of your phone where you turn it off.
I got it off. It is off.
Okay. What are you showing me on a... Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go. You got local tournaments now. You're bowling a house and modified house shot. So you have a symmetrical and a solid, low diffs, 035 and lower, or high diff is 50 and higher. So what you've done now is you put, depending on who you are, if you're a rev dominant player, you might go with a pearlized low diff symmetrical to add to your bag, just so you have something different, but in the same category. It's just a surface change in that case. If you want to add a ball, again, you add, maybe if you have a low diff asim, you add a higher diff asim. Lower diff symmetrical at a higher, depending on who you are, rev dominant, speed dominant. For asymmetrical balls, you have a low and a high intermediate diffs. Okay, so you want to add that. Whatever you have in the bag, you add the other one. So if you have a low intermediate diff ball, and I'm going to build an arsenal for maybe tournament play, I might add a higher intermediate diff ball. So in other words, let's say I have an 015 intermediate diff, and that's my favorite ball coming out of my bag, and I'm going to need something. I think I'm going to need something a little bit stronger because I know what the pattern is. So I looked at how many mils they're using, and what the length is. So now I want to get a stronger ball. I don't go get like an 020 intermediate diff ball. Now I got something so far apart from what I have. You want incremental increases, small incremental increases to your arsenal.
Right.
You
Because
know,
even if you have the graph, even if you know exactly what they're putting out, you know the lane surface, you know all that, you won't really know for sure until you get there and see how the lane's actually responding to your ball. So if you get out your benchmark ball and you throw a couple shots and you're like, oh, I probably need something stronger than this, and then you bring your stronger asymmetric ball, you know, that has a higher intermediate, and that's not even enough, then it's like, okay, it's time to make some changes with surface, you know, because once again, surface is your friend. You're probably not using enough. So
Yep.
adjust accordingly. But getting there, it's always easier to make a ball more aggressive than to have a ball that's sanded,
exactly right. That's right.
sanded super dull and try to bring it up.
Nope,
So,
that's exactly right. Yep.
so if anything, if you're going to do your surface prep prior, you know, you're one of those tinkers that has a ball spinner at home, you want to do it all, that's fine. Don't go crazy with all of them and just be like, you know what? Because you could always add more. And also think ahead, like, you know, for the Muskegon Masters this year, the lanes were juiced. They had, you know, 45-foot pattern and a speed bump down lane. And so during practice, you know, I tried a bunch of different bowling balls, including Purple Hammer, and that's what I started with. But I knew later down the range, I was like, okay, I'm not going to throw urethane forever. I might not even throw it past the first game. I don't know yet. But some of these balls I brought are going to need surface. I know it. Because when I get in and move in, I'm going to need something to slow down. I'm going to start hitting these with surface, but I'm not going to throw them yet. I'm not going to throw them, but I can't put surface on them later. So I have to do it now. So you got to think ahead and think quick.
Right.
Say, all right, I'm going to hit this one with 1,500. I'm going to hit that one with 1,000, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I had an order that I was going to use them in. Okay, I'm going to use this one first, so I'll have more surface on it when lanes are more fresh, and then this one for later. Yeah. But both still had surface.
And a lot of players, if you bowl a lot of tournaments, and I mean that's what you do, you may have the same ball drilled the same way, one surfaced and one not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's simply like, for instance, I like the hitter, the black hitter. If that was going to be my asymmetrical ball, I have a pin down black hitter. I might drill one pin up, put it in the bag, or I might have two drilled the same way, and one has 4,000 on, the other one has 2,000 on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
You know, so this way I'm not guessing. The worst thing to do is go to your bag and try to figure out what you want to go to, and you have that deer in the headlight look. You don't know what to go to, or you don't know what's going to happen after you pick it. Mm-hmm. You want to stay in that same zone. The other thing I want to tell you real quick, and I see this a lot in multiple entry tournaments. I see this a lot. You know, people come in, they bowl the first squad, and maybe they don't like their ball reaction. And the first thing I see them do is they take a pad and they sit down at the table and they're sanding that ball. Now they're going to re-enter. You know, you ever hear the expression, you can't put your foot in the same river twice? I got news for you. That pattern you're going back on, not only was it bowled on, it's sitting there longer.
Yeah.
And one of the things and I'll tell you this too, there's another thing you have to understand. You walk in the bowl A squad on the tournament, how long ago was the lanes oiled?
Yeah, it's true. And, you know, back when I could bowl the mini eliminators back in the day, or the TAT, I think it was the mini, I would always opt for bowling on the fresh. So I think they did a fresh burn, re-oil, fresh burn, and there was 4 squads for the day or whatever, right?
Yep.
So I would come back and bowl the next fresh, having a better idea how they bowled in the fresh. So I had a game plan for that. I didn't try to just be like, oh, I think I got it. I'm going to bowl the next squad. I didn't just do that.
Right.
I'm going to come back and bowl the next fresh. Because in that case, surface off the gutter looked good, but then once it broke down, not so good. So,
and what do they say? It's about 45 minutes after they oil the lanes before they really settle in to where they are. In other words, I don't know if it's 20 minutes, 40 minutes. Put it this way: if you oil them and you bowl on them right away, they're different.
Yeah, I mean, it could, sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think with the modern oilers, especially like the Brunswick machine, prevalent. Where it's direct with the direct application of the injectors. I don't really think there's that same issue. Right. You know, especially with the oil, how it kind of all merges together.
Well, it may not. It may not. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got into that thinking where, they just oiled 15 minutes ago. It's going to be different than they did it 40 minutes ago.
Right,
at the start of the day.
Yeah.
Nah. If anything,
used
how
to
is
be.
it stripped? How it's stripped.
Well, that's true too. But the people that see the people with multi-game tournament or multi-squad tournaments, they bowl the first squad, come off the lanes, now they're sanding their stuff, and they're gonna go back about the second squad because they couldn't get enough of a hook. Well, guess what? After you start making the move, that ball is now ruined for the day. So,
yeah, that's I mean, that thought process once again would be good if they bowl on another fresh, but if they're bowling
exactly
on
right.
the continuation of what they just came off of, it's
Yeah,
the wrong thought process.
and that's where the 2-bag arsenal I'm putting together for you would be good. Is you just bowled a squad, you didn't have a real good reaction. Now you're going to bowl on it after it's broke down. If the balls you started with don't look like they're going to work again, the other bag is probably the answer. So let's go to the next one. So adding to it for travel tournaments and sport shots, add to the core. And at this place, it's specialty balls. And what I call specialty is one on each side of your 6 balls you have. If you don't have a urethane ball, you have to add one.
Yeah. The urethane ball is not even really part of the arsenal. It's just its own thing that needs to be in the bag. If you're a serious tournament bowler, bowling on sports shots, you want to compete, you got to have one in your bag. I don't care how you feel about the whole subject or whatever, but
yeah, you may not even throw it. I mean, you got to have it in case. It may be the only thing that saves you somewhere during that tournament, and that's a specialty ball. Also, something with a low diff symmetrical ball. A lot of people don't have that, and the reason I say that, if you're bowling on a sports shot and it's a short sports shot, that low diff solid symmetrical ball might be the answer. You got to control the back end when you have shorter patterns. And one way is to get the ball to slow down. For a guy like myself, it's a low speed rev dominant player. Then my problem is controlling the back end. A low diff solid is my answer.
Yeah, and adding to the core for me starts with urethane. Starts with the purple hammers.
Right.
So it's going to be changing now if I do bowl nationals because it's going to have to be black hammer. But there will be adjustments. I might even incorporate 16-pound back into the mix to get a little bit extra flair from a black hammer.
Right.
So that's where it starts is urethane, and then take into account which reactive balls I want to take with me.
Exactly. And I think that's the last slide.
Nope.
2
more.
Oh, there's 2 more slides. Okay. So what the first bag should look like, a symmetrical, an asymmetrical, a spare, or low friction ball. How you fit that are you rev dominant, speed dominant? That's your bag. The second bag has to have a urethane ball in it, a low diff symmetrical ball, and an asymmetrical opposite of whatever's in that bag, the first bag. If it's a low intermediate, this one's got to have a higher intermediate. If it's a high intermediate, this is a low intermediate. And there's a 6-ball arsenal to start with. Okay, if you need the third bag, which, is I guess if it's a longer format, I get a kick out of people going to a tournament bringing in 9 balls. I mean, to me, that's like, it's a 3-game tournament.
That's a 2-tripper.
That's a 2-tripper, right?
Unless you're just macho, man, you're just carrying a 3-ball thing on your shoulder,
over your shoulders like that.
Oh man, back in the day, it was 2-ball totes on each shoulder.
Exactly, and that was.
I thought you said there was no typos in this PowerPoint.
Did I have a typo?
Yeah, look what the top title says.
What is look should like beautiful. You're right. It wasn't a typo. It's a wrong word.
There you go. All right, bag 3.
And then the third bag is what I call the strong bag, and in there you put your aggressive stuff. Aggressive drilled asymmetrical and aggressive drilled symmetrical, and then you're going to fill out the bag because it's a 3-ball bag. Just pick one.
There you go. Pick your favorite ball. Make sure your favorite ball's on there. I think that's very underrated. If you're hot with confidence on a ball, make sure that ball comes with you. I don't care what you're bowling on. It could come into play. It could be the ball.
And it's funny because nowadays it's so equipment oriented. I'm in the spot, I'm playing the lanes, and guess what? I'm not striking, I'm changing balls.
Yeah, ball change is like the first thing people do.
It's amazing. That's the first thing people do.
Mm-hmm.
They change balls. you know, they look at the lane pattern, they go, and I've seen this 100 times. This is unbelievable. And matter of fact, I don't bowl as many 2-inches anymore, but one of the last ones I bowled a couple of years ago that I bowled well in, and I actually won that tournament. But the first thing, it was a short pattern. The first thing people saw was short pattern urethane, and they all went and got urethane balls to try to play them out. You know, and it was like,
Seems
you look at
reasonable to me.
didn't you look at the load? You know,
I wouldn't even looked at the short pattern. I'd be like, oh, tournament. Okay, purple hammer.
Purple hammer.
Oh, there's the tournament? Purple hammer.
Yeah. So, you know what? And it's not ball change, ball change, ball change.
No.
You know, if you look at a pattern and there's an area you have to play, or everybody's playing a certain spot of the lane, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, and they're scoring, not just everybody's playing it.
No,
like,
no,
where are the high scores playing right now?
Right.
And
You
if your
wanna play
scores are
there.
not there and you're in a different zone than them, guess what?
Yeah.
Change.
But you know, when you get lined up and you're hitting the pocket and you're not carrying, you know, you got to do some tweaks for a little bit first before you go change balls. Because many times you go and reach in that bag, and I always found the more I brought in, the more confusing it got.
Right, yeah, because how much information do you typically have about 9 bowling balls or even 8 bowling balls?
Oh my God.
You get
Yeah.
confused really quick. It's like you have all these options. You're like, all right, I'm going to use this one. All right, well, you don't really know why you're using that one. You're just going to go grab it.
Exactly. I got to try something, you know,
Yeah,
and
try something.
try something.
Yeah.
You know, you should have tried practicing before you went to the tournament with all your 9 balls. So, but that's just a little overview on getting a core bag. You know, 2 balls, one symmetrical, one asymmetrical, and a spare ball or something, and then adding around it. And that core bag always goes with you, and that's the first bag you take out. It's the first balls you take out, you know, and the first balls you throw, and then you have knowledge from those on what the other balls. Let's do it this way. You have a symmetrical and an asymmetrical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, put 2 on each side of those.
Yeah.
That means you have 2 balls stronger than that one and 2 balls weaker than the other one. And now you have 6 balls and you're set.
And 2014, I had a core bag for regionals because that's all I bowled. I didn't bowl league because I was traveling.
Yeah.
I called it my Novocaine bag because you give it time, it's always going to work. So it was the same 3 balls every single tournament, and I used them in the same exact order. Was a pin-up melee cross, which was a stronger symmetrical smooth roller to blend out the pattern. A pin down, hold down, Forterra Exile. That was my core ball right there. That was the ball I built everything around. And then if they got burned, I went to a pin down LT48 with a hole down.
Yeah.
And then I had a ball on the top side of it in case they were really, really wet dry. And it was a melee cross with a pin down, so something smoother, less flaring, to stay kind of more stable. But I used those 3 bowling balls everywhere.
Yeah.
And with success. It wasn't just like, because if I didn't have success, they wouldn't be using them every time.
Right.
But that was it. Like and then when new balls came out and I got to test them, I got to see where they fit in, if they were going to be replacement, something alternative, maybe something in the line. I don't know. But yeah, knowing your equipment, knowing when to use it in the progression to use it in, because you can have an arsenal, a 6-ball arsenal, right?
Yeah, but if you don't know where they go, right?
If you don't know where they fit, like say you're using a start and a ball, I don't know, a strong symmetrical, okay, and it's a solid, okay. Now, when the lanes start to break down, you're starting to see early friction. The ball's hitting flat on the back. You know, it's going more forward. The move isn't going to be to like maybe a stronger asymmetric ball that's solid. You know, I need something stronger. The ball is hitting flat, and then you use that, and then it starts rolling even earlier and going to the face. You know, it's not the right progression. You need to go down in strength and move in on the approach to give you something more response. It's more or less not necessarily hook potential, but response. And that's when you talked about the hook windows and all that.
Right.
And also matching up the cover types to where you're starting to do what you're trying to do. If you're moving in, trying to hook around a pattern, you're going to need different response times. You're going to need something that's a little bit more responsive, more continuous, whatever you need as the lanes break down. There's no one answer. That's the thing. That's just where experience comes in. What works for you.
Yeah.
You know, there's some balls that's just not going to match up for what you're trying to do.
I had the easiest core bag on the planet with the Intels.
Intel.
Well, that's what it was. I had an Intel, and the pin was about 4.5. by my ring finger, and that had 4,000 on it. Then I had one with like 2,000 or so, a little bit more than 2,000 on it, and then I had one pinned under the ring finger with a hole, pin down, hold down, and those are my 3 balls. They all rolled in 3 different parts of the lane. I had one that was more aggressive because it was out of the box. It had whatever the box finish was at the time, and had one where it touched the surface a little bit to make it smoother, and then the pin down, and then I just carried a spare ball in.
What else could you need?
I had nothing. I mean, really nothing. I can make the pin down, hold down, tip a little bit down lane if I needed it, and then the other 2 were using the oil for hold if there was some, and then go from there.
Well, there's the USB-C proof right there that the banning the extra holes has mitigated the power you have, and your average has probably gone down since extra holes.
Well, they could tell me that if they could even lie to me and send me a note and said that's what happened.
Well, they don't. They won't account for your aging and getting older and just natural skill set going down. They're just like, oh, well, we banned extra holes and Phil's averaging 10 pins less now, so it worked.
That's
how their data processing works.
The same guy is 10 years older. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, his average went down 10 pins after we banned extra holes. Yeah, it totally worked. Look at that.
I just calmed down from the monologue in the beginning. Now you're going all over again.
I know. Pop some Tylenol. It'll be fine.
Let's do a top 5.
Let's do a top 5.
And the Woo box is set up, right? We're done. It's closed.
Closed.
All right, we'll do the top 5, and then we'll give something away.
That sounds good.
Maybe we'll look at some questions real quick too.
Yeah, we'll do that. So, staying on topic. By the way, Cleveland put up a crooked number in the 8th. It's up 6-1. Yikes.
Oh boy! So it's going to be another game.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Top 5 Arsenal mistakes. So we talked about how to build an Arsenal, and we talked a little bit about some of this stuff, but I think it's important to go through the top 5. Here we go.
Okay.
Ready? Number 5. Having multiple balls that do the exact same thing. How many times does a high-performance asymmetric ball come out solid? You're like, oh, man, I love that ball. Gotta have it. And then the next one comes out, different brand maybe, and you're like, oh, man, look at that thing.
I gotta have it.
I know I just got a Black Widow 3.0, but that ball that, that dull sanded ball that mesmerized looks good too. I'm going to have that one. So, having too many of the same thing. It doesn't help you as far as being versatile. It kind of locks you into one type of ball roll, playing one kind of part of the lane.
That's it.
So something calls for something else. Guess what? You don't have it. Number 4, not knowing what order each fits in. We did brush about this one.
Yeah.
Without knowing your equipment, Arsenal building is just going to be confusing for you.
Yeah.
So practicing and knowing these experiences. So when you bowl tournaments, make notes about how each ball performed, and did it do exactly what you thought? Would there be any changes? Like, hey, this ball just didn't quite, maybe it needs some surface. It could be something simple, but figuring out which ball progression. So which ball do you go ball down to? If you're throwing X ball, what's the next step? Obviously that the lanes are going to break down. They're going to dry up a little bit. When I move in and this ball that I'm using at the moment doesn't quite get through it, what's the next move? Is it moving into a certain point, but then this ball is not going to get through the pins? I need to go to change balls. What ball is that? So figuring that out. Number 3. This is your favorite.
Yep.
Leaving the ball you really needed at home. How many times you heard that? Oh, if I would have just brought this, I would have been averaging 250 all day. It's like, oh, if I only had that one, that's the ball I needed. It's always the ball that you didn't bring.
My buddy Brent and I bowl, and I always tease him like that. I say, he'd be struggling a little bit. I go, what do you got in the car? You tell me, and I would say, well, where's this one? I know it's already at home because it's not in his car, and that would be always that ball would work great today.
Just teasing him.
I always do it.
Teasing him. Number 2, not having a purple hammer.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
You gotta have your urethane ball, and for 99% of you that aren't bowling in the national events, guess what? It's still legal.
It's still legal. And could
And
identify as a 78D.
Yeah, it identifies at 78. So you're actually fine.
That's it. If
So if they
somebody
don't-
asks you, say my purple hammer is identifying as
78, so it's legal.
a black hammer today. My purple hammer is identifying as a black hammer. 78D. It's legal.
Yeah. Just say it's you're colorblind and
What? That's not purple.
that's what are you talking about? That's dark gray, like every other ball in my bag.
Finish the last one. I'm going to tell you a joke we played on a friend of mine, but go ahead.
Number 1, not taking care of your routine maintenance. All this is for naught.
Yeah,
If
you got to have.
you're not keeping your cover stocks in order, cleaned, surface prepped, taking care of your grips, not letting your tape get melted,
Oh, that's the worst.
oil extraction.
Yep.
All these
Yep.
things. You got to take care of your gear, make sure it's tip top, especially if you bowl a lot. Bowling balls do not get better with age. They might get better with a little break-in period, when
Yeah,
you
but
use it a
that's
couple
but
games.
not when they get oil soaked or,
No. So
no. And also check that surface. Make sure that it's freshened occasionally.
yes, and repeating all the steps. If you like the box surface, you like that ball out of box,
Yeah, you got to go
Repeat.
back to the beginning.
start all over. 500, work it back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if it's purple hammer, just hit it with 320 and call it good.
Call it a go. Somebody wrote 9 balls to league. Now, we're not suggesting that. We are not suggesting 9 balls to league. We're suggesting the core bag goes to
I
league.
take 3. Yeah, my
Yeah,
2
that's
bowling
it.
balls that I
Core
want to
bag.
throw, and then my spare ball.
That's it. That's
which is
it.
my purple hammer. That's it.
Yeah. So let me tell you a funny story about that colorblind. So my buddy Jeff's colorblind, bowling league, and this other guy on another team of ours, Chris, brings Skittles. Jeff likes Skittles. So Chris bought a bag of Skittles. They were all gray. I didn't even know they did that. They had it's all one color. So I asked Jeff what I was going to get some Skittles from Chris. What was his favorite color? He said, I like the green ones. So I took a handful of the gray ones and brought them over to him. Said, here they go. Here's the green ones.
Oh my gosh.
He's colorblind. He can't tell.
As a kid playing in Little League baseball, we thought like the peanut M&Ms, if you ate a certain color, we get you a single, double, triple.
Yeah,
home run.
right, exactly, right.
The green ones were the home run, so it's like, oh, you got to pop a green one, and then you went out of the park.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, you're not colorblind, are you?
No.
But Jeff is. So everything, he'll say to me, that ball looks good. How would you know it looks good? Here's my favorite color, gray.
He's colorblind. He's not blind.
Right. Well, how can you see the colors?
He's not saying the colors. He's saying.
Oh, he was saying the colors. We tested the ball last week. He goes, that colors look great.
I think he meant how it looks going down the lane.
Oh, maybe. So
Come on.
Anyway, let's look at some questions and get out of here.
Don't be dense.
All right.
You already said the O word multiple times. Now you're goofing on colorblind people.
How am I doing?
Yeah, how's it going? Who else do we want to offend today?
Right, let's pick somebody.
Did you see any questions along the way?
I did not. I was paying more attention to the slide.
Oh, you're too busy.
Yeah, I was too busy.
I don't know. Seems like we're already hour 20 in. I mean, questions.
Yeah. All right, let's pick a winner.
All right. Well, let's find at least one question, then that way I can hand it off to you and then go pick that winner.
And I'll get my clock.
Let's see what we got here. I'm going to try to find one that Phil's going to love to answer. How about that?
All right.
Can it be Olive Garden related? Let me see. No.
Oh, wow. Remember Brian Hoppin, the guy that whacked him?
Yeah.
Okay, he just sent me a text. He just got the Guru Oracle drilled. And he subbed this afternoon. He went 288, 258, 289, 835.
Is that good?
Yeah, for 4. He did it in 3.
Got that picture. Got that up there.
Miguel got a question. Phil, Nick, any considerations to RGs of the balls while building your arsenal? RGs are less and less important nowadays because the frictions are so high on the lanes. we used to use low RGs to get the ball at the hook earlier and high RGs to get down the lane. They're not as important as the differentials are.
Yeah, it'd be like
Yeah.
the last thing you really kind of
Yeah.
consider of that. I mean,
Yeah.
they do matter to a certain extent, but I tested Anger Solid versus Hammerhead, which are very similar constructed bowling balls. The only difference really was the RG. One was a very higher RG, like 257, 256. The other one was like 248, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was a little bit of difference. One was a little bit smoother. One was a little bit, more continuous. So there is moderate differences, but
Yeah.
don't just look at RGs.
No.
Differentials, intermediates, surface types, type of
Yeah,
play,
I got,
symmetric versus symmetric.
I have two drill sheets in front of me. One ball's got a 2.49 to start. The other's got a 2.48 to start. And since we do the drilling sheets and give you after drilling numbers, if I looked at the maximum performance drilling on both balls, the RG on the PAP went to 2.51. So 249 to 2.51. And on the 2.48 ball, it went to 2.51. So the differentials moved. The RGs went up a little bit after you drill them, but not enough to even be measurable. So no.
And thank you for not asking about static weights, and if we consider that as well.
Yeah. Is a half-ounce side going to make my ball tip harder than a quarter-ounce side?
Ridiculous.
How about no? Oh, wait.
Good
I hadn't used
Lord.
that in a while.
Sounds like
All right.
It just sounds like he had Taco Bell and he's regretting
I
it.
know it. Exactly. Hold on. Let me get
No.
let me get my clock out.
Clock.
I'm ready.
You ready? Is
I'm ready.
everybody in
Who's
the
the
chat ready?
Let's root against whoever this is.
Okay. Ready? Here we go.
Ready?
Winner contestant this week.
Contestant, right.
Andrew Bowman.
Andrew Bowman
to the
You're
front,
on the
please.
clock. You're on the clock. I'm going to have a sip
Andrew
of my tea.
Bowman. Bowman. We actually had a high school in our area called Bowman. That's where all the kids went that were bad kids.
Maybe Andrew owns that high school.
Hey, I see an Andrew Bowman in
You do?
right there.
Okay,
That could be
Andrew.
any Andrew Bowman.
Andrew
That could be
here.
any
That's
Andrew
right.
Bowman.
Any Andrew Bowman in the chat.
What number is in your email? What number is in your email, Andrew? You could be any
2.
Andrew Bowman.
2.
You're half right.
All right, we're ready.
Hold on.
Did he
He's
verify
got
it?
it. Yeah, he verified.
All right.
92.
All right,
Good
Andrew,
job.
you know the rules. We're going to give it a big spin, and then it'll land somewhere. If it lands in a whammy, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll pick another name. But if it doesn't, you have an option and a decision to make. It's not life-changing, but it is a decision. Could be. All right, we're ready. Andrew?
They are nice chamois, let me tell you that much.
Oh, we're going to give him the new one. He's going to wait till the end of October?
No, we're not doing that yet. We'll set up something different on the wheel for the whammy chamois.
What if he wins a chamois?
Well, then he's going to get the regular one until...
I think we should give him the option to wait.
No.
No? Okay, you're out.
Can't give away what we don't have. Because it's not going to be an inventory. It's going to be difficult. I can't just put in the order.
Got it.
We're not going to be selling these.
Okay, I understand.
All right, cool. Here we go.
Here we go, Andrew. Good luck.
I'm going to do the biggest spin I can possibly do.
The biggest spin possibly known to man in this universe. Here we go.
Try not to hit
my goodness, look at that. Wow, it might come off
in the bearing.
It come off and hit you in the head. It could kill you. Slowing
no.
down. It's slowing down.
No.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, new ball.
Andrew.
New ball. That's going to be a keeper. That's a winner. Unless he wants to throw back a new ball.
Unless you want to throw back a new ball.
Do you want to throw it back?
I would decide what you want to do there, Andrew.
Andrew, is he going to throw it back?
Is he throwing it back? I got a ball. I don't need another ball. What do I need a ball for? I don't even bowl.
Oh, Andrew says spin again? Just kidding. Keep it.
Andrew, congratulations. Nick will get in touch with you.
right after the show.
right
And I'm
after
going
the
to
show.
spin it one more time just so we
See.
can see what you would have won.
That's it.
Because it could have been a 3-ball arsenal. You could have had 3 bowling balls.
That's it. But you never know. Here we go, Andrew.
And it stops.
And it stopped at.
Oh, ball cup.
Oh,
You could
that
have
would've
had a
been perfect
ball
to put
cup
the
to
ball
put the
on it.
ball on. A ball you already have, but now your ball's just going to roll around.
That's it. And they get all scratched up. Then you got to get a new ball. What a disaster.
Congratulations, new ball. That's
New
all
ball,
we do
Andrew.
here on this show is we just give away
Yeah.
stuff.
Knowledge and stuff.
Knowledge. We give
and
you
stuff.
PowerPoint knowledge almost on a weekly basis, and then we reward everybody for gaining that knowledge.
I'll go through some of the comments. If you guys add some comments in there about what topics you want to hear us talk about.
Yeah.
And we'll do that. We thank the PBA for giving us news today. We thank the NCAA for giving us news today.
And we thank Dio for being dominant.
And Dio being dominant and a nice guy.
And a nice guy.
It's a hard combination to find.
Right. To be good and nice.
And nice.
Normally
right.
when it's like the flow chart of a good professional bowler.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
are you good?
Exactly. Yes.
And then it goes down. Yes. Are you
Yeah.
nice?
Not so much.
No.
No. All right. We'll see you guys next week. That's right. And then I think the week after that, we're not going to have a show.
Why?
I'll be doing seminars.
Week after that? That's
I
not a
think
good
so.
week for you to do that.
Why?
I'll let you know later.
Oh, I know why.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? We can probably do the show on
We'll figure it
Monday.
out. Let's not worry about it. We
All
can't
right,
do it
let's
on
not worry
Monday.
about it.
Anyway, we'll talk about it. Anyway,
I can.
everybody.
On Monday. All right. We'll see you guys. Nick, thank
See
you.
y'all. Take care.
See ya.